So joining us to talk about what's been happening is Air Marshal R.G.K. Kapoor, retired former Air Officer Commanding in Chief Central Air Command. And we also have in our studio Professor Ranjan Kumar, School of International Studies, JNU. Thank you for staying with us. If I could come to you first, Air Marshal, if in terms of how this entire brief was given by these two lady officers, the wing commander as well as the colonel, what do you make of the way these points were made, that India showed full restraint and yet it had an effective strike against non-state actors who've been perpetrating attacks like Pahalgam against India, its citizens, its armed forces, its paramilitary forces for decades now?
You see, India has been suffering, like you said, for many decades, more than 3 decades now, to the terror from across the border. What happened in 2016 after Uri was a surgical strike against a small terror camp? What happened after 2019 Pulwama attack was a little bigger in terms of impact, and this is a fitting response in terms of the level at which the response has been given in terms of hitting the multiple targets which are fountainheads of terror in Pakistan. A selection of targets which was done to send a clear message to the establishment as well as to the Pakistani political and military leadership that there is, it's a very mature and restrained way of responding to this dastardly terror attack of Pahalgam on 22nd of April. The reason of showing these videos and the pictures indicate that the clinical precision with which the Indian military, in a very, very synergized sense of operation with the intelligence agencies, could identify, pinpoint, and target. It also demonstrated the resolve and the statement at the highest leadership of the nation that we will strike at the time and point of our choosing.
Right.
The reason for showing these images and the videos is very clearly a message both to Pakistan and within our own nation that the military today has the capability. The capabilities have been built up from the last time to ensure that people who thought and who peddled lies across the border, especially ISPR, which is the Pakistani public relation agency of the military, that nothing had happened after Balakot. This is a clear indication that there is a proof to the world that India chose targets very, very maturely, identified that these are the terrorist heavens, these are the terrorist infrastructure, and this is where the terror grows into the world. And also to say that yes, it is an anti-terror operation and not against the common man of Pakistan. It also sends a clear-cut message to those within India who at times have doubts that the military operation that has been undertaken, what is the proof of it? So this time, I think this whole operation was perfectly planned and executed to send a clear message across the world to Pakistan and to those within India.
Okay. But Professor Ranjan Kumar, would you say that with this particular briefing, it started with a certain video and it ended with this brief where all the targets, the satellite images were shown, the missiles and the rockets hitting the targets. Does it really put across that message very firmly at what India is trying to say, that we were hurt by what happened, the manner in which it was carried out, this Pahalgam attack by these terrorists, where people from one community were targeted, men were targeted, and which is why the name Operation Sindoor given by Prime Minister Modi himself. And the message, as the Air Marshal said, is it's multi-layered to multiple parties.
Well, so far as messaging is concerned, Gautam, is very loud and clear message. Right from the name, as you rightly said, that Sindoor, so it conveys a certain kind of message to the domestic constituency, but also to the international community. Then two spokesperson, women, both from two communities and one from army
wings
and
of the armed
two wings
forces.
of the army.
Yes.
So, and that shows kind of the messaging which has been done and very perfectly has been executed.
So the Navy has not been brought into the picture yet because it wasn't involved.
Name is important. This Operation Sindoor
Yes.
is important.
No, I was saying Navy has not been brought in yet.
Well, Navy, because you had only two at this moment, maybe
Yes.
Navy will come
Yes.
later.
Yes.
So, but
Who knows?
and also gender, because Pakistan does not have women army. So so that messaging is very
And two communities too.
two communities too. So that messaging is very powerful, and also that we said that the other important substantive messages which have been given, that number one, that is measured, is very precise. Only terrorist camps and infrastructure has been targeted. Then the other message is that we are not targeting civilians. We are not targeting also the military installations in Pakistan. So these are the messages, and as Vikram Misri, Secretary, he very clearly said that the purpose was to preempt and deter. So preempt in the sense that because Pakistan, some of the Pakistan terrorist groups are saying that this would be repeated in the future. So it's a preemption that if you do that, this kind of action you'll expect. So I think it was a very good messaging, and it was very well done by the team of India, both in terms of messaging, but also in terms of military action which has been taken.
And A. Marshall, what do you make of the kind of reactions that we're getting from the international community as well? It varies in tone and terror. If you look at the US, it's slightly different. If you look at China, it's quite different. And there's Russia as well.
I think we should have expected this kind of reaction. The basic thing is that the US had very categorically said that you take action against this dastardly attack. But we also, I think, were clear that at certain point in time, the world community will say exercise restraint. And so the way this whole, and we also know that China
But
and
we
Turkey,
have exercise restraint. That's the whole point that we're trying to make.
Pardon?
We have exercise restraint, haven't we?
Absolutely. So we have exercise restraint. It is now up to Pakistan to see what it wants to do. The escalatory control is now firmly with India. And we expected China and Turkey to side Pakistan. And so that should not be surprising us. But I think the world at large would be in favor of India taking this step in terms of a very measured response to the Pahalgam attack, and ensuring that the message is going to the Pakistani population that we are not striking you. By these pictures and videos, we are also sending a message to the Pakistani population that in case there is any suffering that you have, it is a result of an attempt from your own military and your own military which harbors terrorists. And the suffering that you may go through with all the measures that India has taken is the responsibility of your own people and not that of India. And so this messaging is and signaling is the most important part of this mission, which was flown and executed by both Indian Air Force and Indian Army today.
Yeah, and yet Professor Ranjan Kumar, if you look at the kind of messages that have come in from different countries, I mean, in fact, we're getting an alert right now. UK says ready to help de-escalate in India-Pakistan clashes. China has used a language saying India's response is regrettable. You teach at the School of International Studies, so could you explain to us, what these nuanced differences are and who's trying to convey what? The US said something else. You had other countries. Israel, of course, completely forthrightly with India as far as this response is concerned.
I think, do not expect anything else from China. China is completely with Pakistan, and China kind of protects Pakistan in diplomatic forums, all the forums. And it not only diplomatic forum, it also supplies military.
I mean, they've said that we don't support any form of terrorism, which is laughable.
Well, China would be happy, let me tell you, because if the tension escalates, China thinks that this will halt the progress of India, and China would be very happy about that. And China also must be supplying a lot of weapons to Pakistan. That's for certain. But so far as G7 and the Western countries are concerned, but till now, because India has behaved in a very restrained manner, so they think that this was expected. And this was something which this is not even at the time. This is not going to lead to a war according to the Western perception. So they are with India.
But as far as India's relations are concerned, do you think the dynamics are changing, because you have Russia's reaction as well, again asking for exercising of restraint, but at the same time, this very day, the Chinese president is going to be in Moscow for the next 4 days, and we have the Victory Day celebrations coming up, where India is sending a junior minister.
Well, yes, Victory Day parade, the invitation had come to the highest level in India also, but we decided not to go because of our own concerns. So China is there, but let me tell you that on the issue of China-Russia relationship is very different from India. That's not going to impact Russia relationship with India, and that will also not lead to Russia supporting Pakistan openly or even clandestinely. My concern is that the Western countries, they should understand that India has been suffering. India has been a victim of terrorism for a long time. The Western countries have also suffered because of Afghanistan, Pakistan, etc. So now there is a time that they have to come in support of India's perception, the way India kind of projects the issue of terrorism. The Western countries in many cases have been very hypocritical. On the issue of terrorism, they'll ask India to provide evidence, and when it comes to their own terrorism, they never go for any kind of evidence. But yes, the things have completely changed. Gautam, as you rightly asked me, just yesterday there was a free trade agreement with almost the final stage with the UK. France, we are buying Rafale, you know that. US, we have a very good strategic and defense cooperation now, also a member of Quad, etc. So the kind of perception that these countries used to have during the Cold War period or even later, so that is certainly changing, because they know that India did not provoke this attack. This attack was provoked by Pakistan. India had a ceasefire agreement with Pakistan right since 2021. But with the support of army, the terrorist group decided to attack innocent tourists in Kashmir, essentially to destabilize the economy of Kashmir, and also against the normalcy which was being restored in Kashmir. So India had to retaliate, and the Western countries by and large agree that India has right to defend and take action, but they'll be concerned about escalation, and to the extent of sometimes they talk about nuclear escalation, etc.
Air Marshal, would you like to comment on the kind of reaction that has also come from France, a country that we have bought the Rafales from? Its foreign minister saying, we understand India's desire to protect itself against the scourge of terrorism. And he's also said, I don't think anyone has an interest in a lasting confrontation between India and Pakistan. So exercise restraint is a common refrain, but the words used vary quite a lot depending on which country has commented about the situation.
Exactly. So Israel, as we see, is suffering, and it is directly related to terrorism. It's not that Europe is not suffering from terrorism, but it is a little different than what is happening in our area. And so the relationship, both diplomatic and military relationship that we have with France or with Russia, with UK or with US, even now with Italy and some other nations in Europe, Spain for that matter, is something which will contribute to the tone and tenor of the responses which we will hear today or in coming days as the situation evolves, to see how they, but the underlying theme of major responses would be to exercise restraint and not wanting it to escalate. But certainly there would be clear support to India after what we have done today morning, in terms of striking only the terror targets, not ensuring that there is no collateral damage, ensuring that there is no civilian casualty in Pakistan, and also ensuring that we are not striking military targets across the border. Also ensuring that we never violated their airspace by flying into that country. These are the measures which will provide confidence of India's stature in this entire set of events, and would further the international support to our actions. Now it is up to Pakistan to ensure that they do not escalate it any further, and there is a reasonable understanding across the border that they should let the things rest where they are.
So far, what we know is Pakistan has resorted to increased ceasefire violations. There have been some civilian casualties as well, Professor Kumar. But do you think Pakistan could or would go beyond these sort of measures? Because that would definitely then mean that it is looking for a bigger fight.
I think Pakistan is capable of doing some kind of misadventure, and we should be ready for that. And the message was also coming from Vyomka Singh, the spokesperson, when he said that Indian army, Indian military is ready for any kind of misadventure by Pakistan. So what Pakistan will try to do at this moment would be a few things. Number one, they will try to internationalize the issue. They'll say that how civilian have also been injured and killed, etc. They'll try to convey the message to the world.
Civilians have been killed on our side as
well. Yeah, but even at this moment, we have targeted only the terrorist camps, not the civilian. All right. So neither the civilians and nor the military installations. So our target was only terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan. But Pakistan will try to internationalize the issue by creating some fake images, etc. So that Pakistan will do. Pakistan will also try to seek support from China and of course some of the Islamic states in the neighborhood. So that Pakistan will do, but as so far as military action is concerned, I think Pakistani army is in very bad shape. There is a lack of trust. There is a division between political party and the army. There is a tussle between the two political parties. One is in jail, and Imran Khan is not liked by Asim Munir, etc. So, given that kind of situation, Pakistani army would be in immense pressure to take certain action.
Imran Khan is fairly established, but could there be a problem between Shahbaz Sharif, the PM? There is the political establishment and the military establishment as well.
The strategy
even within the military establishment,
the reason why this attack was done, there might be a purpose why army is doing this, and the purpose would be to kind of replace Sharif and become the military ruler like Musharraf. So that is a possibility, I'm saying. And when they are doing it with a purpose. They knew that if you do this, India is going to retaliate. They knew it was imminent. Still, they did it. Why? Because they wanted to grab more power. And more power comes if you create this kind of conflict with India. So that's what Asim Munir has done.
Because there would be a lot of jingoism in Pakistan. Then.
Jingoism, some kind of people will rally around army. So that will create situation when they'll say that Sharif is not doing well and this is the he's not taking proper actions. So army would become much more powerful, and that's that's one of the purposes. Apart from creating some kind of disorder in Kashmir, internally this was the purpose, to gain more power, to grab more power.
So in this scenario, Air Marshal, do you think it's best for India to just be ready for anything that Pakistan might do in terms of a misadventure, and at the same time also reach out to its own partners worldwide? India has, it's not short of friends anywhere in any corner of the world. And it has done that already.
So the first thing is that I'm sure India has reached out diplomatically to most of its friendly nations and others. But I would like to focus a little more on what kind of response we could expect from Pakistan.
Okay.
I think Pakistan would respond to this because otherwise, if they do not respond, the military will be held in very, very poor light. As it is, they are facing a lot of pressure from the civil and the civil population after the arrest of Imran Khan, who is the most popular leader there. And this pressure would only rise if after this very, very clearly demonstrated strike, no action is taken. While Pakistan army is completely stretched, it is short of resources. It is stretched in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It is stretched in Balochistan and along the Durand line with Afghanistan. The Pakistan Air Force is considered as the most potent service amongst the three services in Pakistan, and they are the people. Pakistan Air Force is the one which is most likely, in my opinion, to be factored into any response to this mission that has been executed by India.
Okay.
And so I would believe certain actions like closure of certain airfields and closure of some airspace is a clear indication that I think the military leadership in India is very, very clear about and has coordinated well with the civil aviation to ensure that there is freedom of operation for the Indian Air Force and also Indian Army towards the air defense and to thwart any misadventure that Pakistan could plan against us. However, this could come in 24, 48 or 72 hours or even later the way it came last time after a certain amount of time. And so this time it could be even later. And therefore, we must not let our guard down is my.
Yes, they would be trying to get their ducks in a row, but it's better that they don't. But in the scenario that they do, Professor Kumar, do you feel that I mean, which of the two countries is better prepared to climb up the escalatory ladder? Is it Pakistan or India? Is there any comparison at all?
Absolutely no. There is no comparison. See, there is a huge asymmetry between India's power and Pakistan's power. Pakistan's economy is only $270 to $300 billion. Compare that with India, which is roughly $4,000 billion. So, you need a strong economy to fight a war. And with a war like India, which has all the possible weapons, you cannot have if you have such a weak economy.
So, in that scenario, Air Marshal, do you think Pakistan will sort of try to count on some external help?
It will surely take some external help. Certain amount of what I see in the media, there has been certain amount of help which has come from its two very, very close friends. But it will take help.
Does that include North Korea as well?
Pardon? North Korea, I do not think so, because North Korea has fairly close relations with Russia. And I'm sure Russia will not allow North Korea to get involved, because it's already involved along with Russia in its fight against Ukraine. Also, North Korea has the kind of weapons that they have. They do not have a very potent air force, or so they have, what they have is a potent army and a potent nuclear capability, which I'm sure we have not reached the kind of irrationality where Pakistan would like to even think about asking North Korea to help on their.
I don't know if Dr. A.Q. Khan would like to try.
No, I mean, that was a long time back.
Yeah.
They have achieved what they wanted to achieve. But at this point in time, escalation is not in their favor, and I would believe that the Pakistani establishment not so irrational to escalate to something like that. And we have witnessed earlier that there is fair amount of space, warfare space below the nuclear threshold.
Okay. Well, let's leave it at that point for the moment and hope that sanity prevails. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, both of you, Professor Kumar and Air Marshal Kapoor. And we will continue with our broadcast as well. This is a rolling story that we're taking through the hours.